Well, hello again, and thanks for joining us. This is How to Be a Raw Vegan, episode 4, I believe it is. One of my favorite things is the easy cleanup that's involved here of the dishes when you're done with them, and with the body. And if you go into a frat house where they've been drinking and partying and eating pizza and meatloaf, you're going to find a lot of crusty, germ-infested dishes in the sink, most likely, unless they're really special frat boys. But with the raw food diet, after you're done with your meal, you have really good energy still, and part of the reason people don't clean their dishes right after they're done with their food is because of the way the food has made them feel, and that creates laziness. And laziness doesn't make us happy. A lot of people like to flaunt that I'm lazy, but that does not make us happy. We are much more happy when we're dutiful and awake and alert. That should be obvious. However, it used to not be to me, so I assume that there's many out there who don't see that. Anyways, so the dishes are so easy to clean up too. You just run water over it. If you want to use some organic soap, that's cool too. You can use your hand even. You don't even need a sponge. You can use a sponge if you like, but it's all good. The body, the same thing happens when you're eating the meatloaf and the pizza crusts. It's gonna create accumulation in your intestinal tract. If you ever do the math of how much your body eliminates and how much you put in, it's really not going to add up if you're eating a lot of bad foods. So if you're eating good foods, you'll find that a lot more is being eliminated. And so that's a really good thing to keep in mind, because the food that you do eat, if your body is clear of accumulated waste, it's going to be used a lot better by your intestinal wall, it's going to be absorbed a lot better by your intestinal wall and used a lot better by your body and by your brain. So the food works better after you do a cleanse or when you've been a raw foodist for a long time, because of that simple reason. In the last one I talked about the dream I had about God making the stir-fry on the beach, the carrots, potatoes, and seaweed sizzling there, and I wasn't really clear on why that had come to me, but now I totally know. So back to that dream, I saw the carrots sizzling and I was like, hey, God's making a stir-fry to my buddies. God's stir-fry is room temperature. God's stir-fry is the sun, what the sun does to our food. And a lot of people, when they think about the raw food diet, they think of these cold, slimy salads and just really unappetizing ideas, and that's not correct. The best way we can eat our food, the most flavor we're going to find, is at room temperature, I believe. That's what I experience, at least. So people, when they don't enjoy this cold, straight out of the fridge food, they go to the opposite extreme and make it boiling hot, and that burns the crap out of their intestines, burns the crap out of their tummy. That's no good. You can eat as much as you like on the raw food diet. In episode 2, I talked about you not needing to eat 3 times a day, which is true. However, all the raw fooders that I know eat a lot, and it's because we love the food, and it doesn't mess us up. It doesn't jack up your body to have a huge raw feast, and that's so cool. You can really indulge in the beauty of the sense of taste, and it's really it's really cool. It's really worth it. I really recommend it. All the food is very diverse. I've mentioned that a couple of times before. In this context, I would relate it to how the taste buds change when you start eating raw food, when you eat an apple. You never know what kind of apple this is going to be. When you eat pastaroni or Ritz crackers, it's always going to be the same. This is a really good apple, a green one. The diversity will never bore you. The way the earth, the way spirit creates is never boring. The concept of raw veganism and spirituality, I've come across a lot of beings who think that it's a distraction from the spiritual path, and that it's a fanatical way to live your life. But that only happens if you force yourself into something you don't want to do. Fanatical ways of dealing with things is not healthy, and it's not recommended for the person who wants to grow spiritually. It will be a distraction. However, one of the coolest things I heard my friend say once, who was just a veteran raw fooder, is that in time, the bodily health of the system that's not maintained properly is much more of a distraction, will take much more of your spiritual life away. Much more of your time dedicated to spiritual practices. So that's really important to remember. The time that's saved also in the raw food diet. You don't have to come out of your meditation or whatever it is you feel drawn to early to cook your food. You can just bite right into it. It's already created. It's a time saver and it's an energy saver. Your body, you can serve a lot better. You can be a lot more awake and alert in your service, which is top spiritual practice. Some go raw and stay raw, and some go raw and don't stay raw. And I think the answer to this, why is that? Because you want to be fully convinced when you start this. You don't want to just throw yourself into it and have all these hidden desires in you for cooked food still, and meat and stuff. You want to get that out of there. You want to take it slow and really make sure, convince your whole being before you jump ship. It's a really good thing to keep in mind. Living with the seasons is one of the most beautiful ways you can tune in with the spirit, the nature spirit. It's really perfect the way it's all designed. In the winter we have persimmons, in the summer we have watermelon, in the spring we have peaches and cherries and nectarines, white peaches, apricots. It's endless. And that is just, it's perfect. And you get to see that. It's a constant reminder of this flawless plan that you just don't get to see when you're going and buying boxes of food. You forget that you are part of nature, and nature is part of spirit. An eternal source of joyous love and creativity is communion. When we create, we commune. It's so fulfilling to us because we're made in the image of our Creator. And raw foodism can be very simple or very time-consuming hobby. And both of them are great. The simplifying, we've called it an eat foodist, me and my buddies. You can just eat your food the way it is and never have to cook or prepare anything again, and you'll be awesomely healthy. But you can also make it into this creative, time-consuming hobby, which is really cool too. It's always reminding you that this food comes from the same place that I do. And if you have reverence for this process of creative work with God's food, it'll change your whole life. It'll change your consciousness. And this is a way in which raw foodism can be an aid to the spiritual practice. It's a reminder of the inexhaustible nature of the creative spirit within us. When we cut open this or that vegetable and see its ever newness, we never know how it's going to manifest. And that's how this world is. Much joy to you.